Hello everyone. In the previous sessions, we understood about Java arrays, like introduction to Java arrays, what is the purpose of arrays, and the syntax of the array, how to declare, how to initialize, or how to assign values to the array. Also, we saw how to print the values in the array, or how to access the values of the array. So that is what we saw in the previous sessions, and what we saw is a one dimension, like uh, simple array or one dimensional array. One dimension is there is only one sequence, or like uh, yeah, zero, like with simple indexes, we identify that array. If you are aware of maths matrix concept, in matrix also we can have one dimensional array, uh, uh, two dimension, multi-dimension, like that. So matrix, yeah, we will go through that. For now, yeah, what we saw, this quick recap. And in this session, we will try to understand two-dimensional array. So, okay. So first we need to understand what is yeah, two-dimensional array. So, okay. So let's take paint. Okay, I am just loading the previous example, like not so how the arrays are internally represented. So now this is a one-dimensional array. If you take two-dimensional array, so two-dimensional array means something like this. So we are saying two records or like two rows or like, okay. Suppose in the previous example, we have taken employee IDs. Okay, these are different employee IDs. Okay, and so these are all employee IDs. So now we want a different example, that is student ID and marks. Suppose we want to keep these values. Okay, so we want these two values. Okay, okay, let's take uh, example. Suppose we have 5 students. Student 1, student 2. Okay, student 1 ID is 100. Marks is okay, student ID marks is 70. So 102 is 65. So like that we have multiple students. And based on one dimensional array, what we can do is we can group all the IDs like this. Okay, like student IDs, and then student marks. Okay, and so on. So here we are making into two different groups. Okay, so yeah, we are doing something like that. I mean, to achieve this representation, um, yeah, we are doing like that. So instead of that, we can do something like two-dimensional array. This is just an example. Uh, okay, so for example, if you take here, so we know, like, maybe I will take Excel. Okay, so Excel is nothing but rows and columns. Okay, so we will take Okay, we will just outline this. So rows also will be indexed. I mean, if you see these to identify each row, we have a numbering, and to identify each column also, here you can see A, B, C, D. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also kind of an two-dimensional array we can consider. So generally array starts from 0th index. So in this way, this is one complete record in general also in Excel. So suppose if you want to keep student age like that, we can have different. Okay, so this is not possible in arrays because we can't put different values, different type of values. For example, we are just taking marks only. Okay, so just a representation like two-dimensional means there is rows and columns. Like we know what is the length of the rows, what is the length of the columns. So total 5 rows and 5 columns in this case. Suppose if we delete this, so we have 5 rows and 4 columns. So similarly, here also we can make yeah, 2 rows, 2 columns, 2 by 2 matrix for 2 values. If there are multiple values, in that case, we have to increase the rows. Okay, that is how we can like main uses of two-dimensional array. So yeah, so array with more than like multiple rows and columns. If it is one dimension, it means only one row. There can be multiple columns. The columns is nothing but the value, the number of values. So it is one dimension means only one row. It is two dimension means yeah, like there will be rows and columns, both multiple rows and multiple columns in that case. Okay. Yeah. So let's take an example. Yeah, first we will see how Java supports this two-dimensional arrays. So there can be, yeah, okay, let's take an example. You can take example of Sudoku also, or like TikTok toy. So here in arrays, you should know the length of the array. Even here in two-dimensional array also, we have to define what is the size of the rows, what is the size of the columns. So yeah, that is for sure. Like that is the syntax, or like that is how Java arrays works. And we can take example of TikTok toy or Sudoku. Okay, so Sudoku we know like there will be a square matrix or table where you have to mention the numbers and it should not reused in the same row or column or the diagonal. So there should not be same number should be there. So that is okay. We can just search it Sudoku example. So you can take this. So here you can see there will be total 9 rows and 9 columns. So this is a like two-dimensional array. So there is fixed rows and fixed columns, uh, and the values we know like if it is one-dimensional array, we can get it using the index of the location. Whereas in two-dimensional array, we have for this value we have to use these two indexes. If you want this value, we have to use this and this index, 0 and 1, 0 and 2, 0 and 3. Okay, that will become the first row. when we are accessing the first row. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to code editor. Okay, and let's create one more class. Two-dimensional array. Okay, so let's take Sudoku is 9 by 9. So we we will take another example, TikTok tie. So this is also like two people will play this game, and we have like someone has to make it a cross, like either a cross or a round, like zero or a cross or something like this. Uh, Representation we can take even into cross. So whatever, just to identify, there will be two types of values, and X and O kind of, and if diagonal or row or column, if it is all same, then it will be that whoever puts that value, that person is the winner. So that is how this, and you can see this is kind of a matrix and or a table, small table, where there are three rows and three columns. So we know the size of this. So that is 3 by 3 matrix or 3 by 3 table or 3 by 3 array. Like that is a two-dimensional array. There are rows and column values, so that's why two dimension. One dimension for rows, another dimension for columns. Okay, so let's go to here. Let's go here, and we can put characters. Okay, because for example, we take X and O to represent that, capital X and capital O. Yeah, tic-tac-toe. So tic-tac-toe array, just name I'm giving like this, and then now we can define. Okay, I'm giving a one-dimensional array. How we define? Okay, we will convert this to, suppose we are giving 3. This is for one row, and we want for, so this represents rows, this represents columns. So this represents rows, this represents columns. So we have 3 rows and 3 columns. So this is 3 by 3 two-dimensional array. So 3 by 3 matrix, or like 3 by 3 array. 3 by 3 means 3 rows and 3 columns. Two-dimensional because this one dimension for rows, one dimension for columns. There can be three-dimensional also, four-dimensional also. If you take matrix and the shapes, if it is if you want to measure width, the height, and the value, in that case you can go for yeah, three dimension. So one for width, one for length, one for height. So in that case, something like that. Like in this may not be exact example, but you can imagine like that. So if you want to maintain three level of values, then you can use that. But yeah, these are how different types of arrays available. But in real time, we mostly use one-dimensional arrays, and two-dimensional arrays is very rare, mainly to solve kind of specific use cases. We go for a multi-dimensional array. But when you develop any software or like web applications or something, we rarely use two-dimensional arrays. If you understand one dimension and two dimension, that should be enough. And you can increase the dimensions. We can't visualize using any of the representation because we can't represent 3D here. So only 2D is nothing but a table we can represent and understand how it works. But when it comes to 3D, you have to imagine and try to understand. But for now, you can simply, like, if you understood one dimension, two dimension, that that should be fine. And like multi-dimension, you can just imagine, like, you can have like this. But for now, you no need to worry. Okay, and yeah, so this is how we declare. This is the declaring part, declaration. Okay, this is only declaration, and then we know how to access or how to set value. So this is how we set. Suppose we are putting the marks, okay, or like the value inside uh, that index. Okay, suppose we want to put. You can take same example. OXX. And then when this is 3 by 3 matrix, and we want to do the same here. Like, we want to set the values to this, and then we will print same values. We can even do formatting also. We will see like how we can do that. Okay, for now, okay, we will set the value. We know if it is one dimensional array, we can simply use the column index or like one dimension. So only that particular index of the cell, if you use, that should be fine. Whereas if it is two dimensional, we have to specify two dimensions like row and column also. So which row and which column value we want to set. So array by default, the starting index is 0, and here also we saw like 0, 0. So that means, okay, let's remove this. Let's remove these two, and let's remove these two also. Okay, we have, okay, we want one more column. Okay, so we want to put X, okay, it's O, X, X, and then X O, same X O. Okay, so yeah, let's format so that it will be more visible. Yeah, okay. Now to set this value, by default there is no value, and we want to set that value. So how we can access this particular value? Using these two combination. This is the row, this is the column index. So that's where, okay, so same thing we can do here. So 0, 0, that is cap O. Similarly, okay, we have, so it means there will be three multiple by like 3 into 3, that is total 9 values we have to mention here. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So total 9 values you have to enter, like save. Even the two-dimensional array size also, that will be total 9 if it is 2 bytes for each value. Since it is a character, it will be 2 bytes. So and total 9. So it means the total 18 bytes will be allocated in the memory. Internally. So this is the internal how the JVM or the computer allocates the memory and how much it allocates. So that is internal. even these indexes also are internal, like you have to remember. So this is two-dimensional array, rows and columns, and to get particular value, you have to use corresponding indexes so that that value will be fetched. So we want to put first row. So row will be remain 0, column only will change. So it is x, and 2. Okay, so that is how, like, that is complete for first row. Now row is again changing. So row changed to first row, means that is the second row, that is the first index, and then column will still be 0 because that is the first column and the second row. So that is how it is. Okay, and then so now we are changing it to x. So we are setting this value x and remaining. So 1 1 1 1 means this one 1 1. So this, so 1 2. So similarly, yeah, let's say same. So we no need to change. Okay, okay, that is how we set the values. Okay, and now we will just print TikTok time. So we will see what it prints. We can simply print also. Okay, could not find. It's because we want to run as a Java application. So it is printing. We can't print like this. Okay, we have to again yeah, there are different ways to access the values. We already know, like, to access a one dimensional array we can give like this, and here we are saying 0, that is row, it will print the entire row 0xx. If you want to print particular value in that row, in that case you have to give row and column index also. Suppose I want to print last value, so how we can print? So okay, okay, for example, if you, yeah, if you take like this, okay, so that means we have this other column index, row index. Okay, row and column. Okay, we need to give so we want the last elements. That means 2 and 2. So if you run 2 and 2, it should give 0, I think. Oh, maybe it is giving like this. I don't know why it is giving like this, but suppose if you change it to x, what will happen? It is not printing correctly. Why? Because okay, let's convert it to, generally it should 0 1 2. Okay, there is no value. That's why, because we are overriding the previous row only. Second row it is null, and there is no value. That is why it is giving. So you can see here we have to change the row. Row should be third row, means it is index 2. So now it will print. Okay, so let's run this. So it is printing O, because yeah, we did not assign the values properly. This row we did not set. We have overridden the same row. So we can see. So this is constant always. The row is constant. It is incrementing after 3 times it is done. After 3 times it is printed. Okay, so that is how we can initialize. So yeah, this is one way of initialization. There is another way of initialization, that is we can declare the values upfront, like at the time of declaration we can do the initialization of the values also. So we know, like for one dimensional array, like for example 0, x, o, xx. So this is one row. Okay, now we have multiple rows. Okay, so that's why we have to put like this, and also it is giving duplicate local variable. Okay, let's say 2. So here this takes even one single row also in two-dimensional array, because when this is dynamic, dynamically it will we edit. Okay, if you say 3 3, so that time syntax array tokens type expected instead. Okay, suppose we put 3 rows. Okay, I think we can't put the size at the time of initialization. Okay, so that is a syntax error it is giving. So we, yeah, if you know already the values, we can do like this. So generally, how, if you have something like calculator, or like in website we have a Sudoku online TikTok online game, and two people are playing. So when you are playing, there will be, so this is computer is playing for us. So here when this is entered from the website, like from the game tool or like from the app, we get the value and we store that value. Okay, so that time we can simply like declare the array, and then later we can assign the values based on the index, or like on which row. So it is second row, second column, that is a 1 1. So 1 1, we set the value whenever someone give the value. So that is how real time it works. For now we are trying to understand how, what is two dimensional array, what are arrays. So once you understand the concepts or like the fundamentals of core Java, later you can use these concepts inside like while developing the application. So that is why the fundamentals is more important. So for now you can just focus on understanding the concepts. Okay, so that is how it is. Okay, this is another way, and we can print same thing. So this time you can see same returning. No, no. This time, because we are giving different variable, so let's give this variable name. This will print x, because here the values are different compared to previous. Okay, and so here we are taking character. You can put even string or double or integer, any type. So arrays is a homogeneous type. So only that type of values only allowed. So we will see what is the problem here and like in future. But for now, yeah, we just focus on this arrays alone. Okay, in previous session we saw like if you give more than what is the size, so that time we will get a here also array index out of bound exception. This is an error because computer can't be able to identify this particular location, because this is not assigned to this value. And also memory management. If you, yeah, this is best example for matrix. And we know like I think arrays it might allocate continuous memory, whereas for matrix it will be continuous only, but It may not be like a matrix representation in the memory model. Internally, that can assign anywhere, but it will just reference like a 0001, like that. It will reference maybe in a sequence also. But here also there will be fixed size allocated. So 18 bytes will be allocated for this two-dimensional array variable. Okay. Yeah. So that is like declaration and how internally two-dimensional arrays works. What is the difference between one dimension, two dimension, and basic examples. Uh, yeah. For now, we are trying to understand the concept and with some examples. Uh, in the later sessions, we will see more in-depth and use cases of these arrays, two-dimensional, how we process like that. Okay, yeah, that's all for this.